CCTV appears to show alleged Parsons Green bomber 0014. A teenager suspected of being the Parsons Green bomber had been spoken to by police a number of times, neighbors of his foster family claimed today, amid questions over what authorities knew. The 18-year-old refugee, believed to be Iraqi, was a problem to foster parents Penny and Ron Jones, and they had been contacting officials saying that they were unable to cope, it was said. Neighbors of their house in Sunbury on Thames, southwest London, said that he had been brought home by officers just 2 weeks before the attack, and they regularly saw plainclothes officers at the property. The teenager was arrested at the port of Dover on Saturday morning on suspicion of planting the homemade bomb, which partially detonated on a District Line train on Friday morning, injuring 29 people. The Parsons Green bomb was held in a shopping bag but failed to detonate fully, credited Adrian Dennis of all but one of those caught up in the terror attack, which saw commuters getting crushed as they ran for their lives from the fireball which ripped through the carriage, have now been released from hospital. Police arrested a second man in connection with the attack on Saturday night. The 21-year-old was held in Hounslow, West London, before searching a home in Stanwell, Surrey, connected to one of the Jones' former foster children. The terror threat level was reduced earlier from critical to severe, but officers continued to search the home belonging to Mr. and Mrs. Jones, aged 88 and 71 respectively, who previously received MBEs for services to children and families. Foster carers Penelope and Ronald Jones received their MBEs from the Queen. Lewis Wildpaw forensic tents were erected in the front and back garden of the terraced property as residents who were evacuated from their homes by counter-terror officers over the weekend were gradually allowed to return. It is understood that the teenager was born in Baghdad but came to Britain as a refugee a couple of years ago. He had been staying with Mr. and Mrs. Jones for several months after going through an immigration center in Dover, it is said. Stephen Griffiths, 28, who lives across the road, said police have been at this address a few times in the last couple of weeks. At the time we just put it down to it being foster kids that needed to be spoken to. But it clicked in my head earlier, what if one of the children was under investigation or surveillance, he said. On several occasions police had turned up in marked cars but plain clothes and spoken to the Genese's police at the docks in Dover, where an 18-year-old man was arrested. Credit Harvey Solomon Bradipa. It was nothing like just a normal officer doing a duty call, it seemed like something a bit higher in the chain, he said. Aaron Nye, a former foster child of the couple, said that they had told him that they had had some difficult teenagers recently. I really feel for the Penny and Ron. It's dreadful for them, and it has made me quite emotional. They never asked for any of this, and they have been so good to so many kids, he said. Family friend Jim Adaway, 37, said the Geneses had recently returned to foster caring to help resettle youngsters from overseas, and Mrs. Jones had been struggling with the teenager. I think Penny was getting in touch with the authorities saying I cannot handle this one, he said. A police cordon in Cavendish Road, Sunbury, with forensic tents in the distance. Credit Lauren Hurlapa. Serena Barber, 47, who has known the couple all her life and lives in a property backing onto theirs, added he kept getting in trouble with the police and they didn't know what to do with him. She said that about 2 weeks ago he was spoken to by police who brought him home, adding after that Penny said she was going to have to stop caring for him, she couldn't handle him. A spokesman for the Metropolitan Police said that they had no knowledge of a previous arrest but would not comment on whether the teenager was known to them. The Geneses are understood to be staying with friends. Their daughter-in-law Yvonne Jones, 41, said they are safe and well. I can't say any more than that. We have been told not to talk. Parsons Green London Underground terror attack, in pictures.